you're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hay deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately, isn't it? What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Typical, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello everybody and welcome to the Radical Race Series for round 4 here of season 1 in 2024. We're on the other side of Christmas and the New Year. We've had our week off here at JPB, missing the Laguna Seca round of this championship. But we're back again here at Spa, one of the most well-used venues of this series. Been here many times. Indeed, we were here last season. It was a rookie that took on the win as well. James Ritchie making a debut win in the feature race on that particular occasion. We'll see who can take the win here today and whether maybe another debutant can surprise us this time around. My name is Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt once again, as we have been through the entire season so far. Good to be alongside you again here for this one. James, good to be back again as well after Laguna Seca 1 week ago. We're on this other side of New Year now. We're ready to go again for round 4 of this series.
I'm thinking it's going to be an absolutely stellar one. Do you know the thing is, right, we were talking about this off air, and at the end of the day, Spa is, yes, it's on every series, right, without a shadow of a doubt. It's on every series, on every calendar, on everything. We've seen it lots of times before. But the racing is absolutely epic, and that's the problem. You've got 7 laps tonight in the sprint race, and we've got 11 in the feature. Obviously, you've got the top 10 reverse as well. We've seen down the Kemmel Straight, it's been absolutely incredible racing from there, and I think it's still going to be. It's just Spa. That's it, really. It's just Spa. You know, Spa is Spa.
Yeah, we are here very often, as we say. Back again on this occasion for round 4. Now, let's take a look at the championship standings before we go any further here today. Simon Edwards is leading the way, as you can see, leading them out there on the circuit right now as well. So John McCutcheon is in second position, just 3 points behind, with Adam Tighe a little bit further back. Bit of a 2-horse race at the moment between those top 2. Then Robert Woodward's inside the top 5 at the moment, with Paul LeMay jumping up to 5th during the last round. He's tied with David Walters on 101. Mike Bouson's down in 7th ahead of Phil Jocelyn. Then it's Michael LeMay and Phil Glover to round out the top 10. Leah Hansen is in 11th. Then Ben Cooper. And then it is George Gonzaga, who moved up a little bit last week. He's up to 13th now. Paul Clark and Luke Maxwell round out the top 15, although those two have still missed appearances so far this season. Dan Webster has as well. Scored 55 points in his only round so far this season. He's now 16th position. Martina Ward is in 17th ahead of Jamie Bird and Damien G, who both moved ahead of James Barry during the last round. Graham Brown is outside the top 20 now, with Stuart Geddes 22nd, Jeff McIntyre 23rd, and David Beasley, Paul Crabb and Aaron Thompson, the 26 drivers who have taken to the circuit so far this season. So it's been very well attended so far. We've got over 20 again here tonight, here for round 4 at Spa.
Yeah, do you know what? In a weird kind of way, right? I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to ignore that comment, Craig Jones. It's finally nice to see James actually do some work. Yes, I've had 2 weeks off. Bill across the pond, welcome back. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us as well. Right, the thing for me is this race is one of them races where we're going to have epic action down the Kemmel, which I expect us to have, or it's going to be horrendous. And by horrendous, I mean there's going to be some incidents, people are going to spread out, and we're going to have big gaps. Now, I don't think we're going to get the latter. I believe that we will get the epic racing that we've always come accustomed to, and I think we're still going to be accustomed to it, and I think we're still going to get that. You know, for these guys, are we really going to be worried about a championship this early on? We're on round 4. I don't see much value to it already.
Yeah, it's a bit too early. I do talk about it very early, so it's a thing. So fair enough. I mean, it's only 3 points between the top 2 at the moment. We said it time and time again last season. It didn't really matter where Simon Edwards and Luke Maxwell were in regards to each other until really the final round at Knockhill, when it was all finally decided in favour of Luke Maxwell, who was just better on the day. But it is important to stay within that sort of region there, because, I mean, look at the gap to those further behind. I think that's the important thing here. It's not the gap between McCutcheon and Edwards, because they're close. It's the gap between the rest of them. Who else can get involved in the championship this season? And so far, it's shown that it's going to be very, very difficult for anybody else to do so. Adam Tighe is in third already, 45 points off after only 3 rounds. He's losing an average of 15 points a round, which is absolutely massive after this short period of time.
Yeah, it is, but we are still early on, and we know that anything can happen. We've seen dramatics at Brands Hatch with championship leaders, and we've seen it other places as well. And I think overall, I think we're still going to be in for that. And you know, I don't think this is done and dusted. I don't think this is going to be a 2-horse race. I don't believe it's going to be just these two. I reckon there are going to be more involved. It's just when they're going to start getting involved. You know, it's good to see Luke Maxwell back again, and I think he kind of needs to get up and running now. You know, he's got to get that run. He's got to get them wheels going now. He's got to make sure that he gets out and he scores some points with missing the couple of weeks that he has done. But all in all, I think the racing will still be amazing right up to the end, and we will just sit back and enjoy it, because I think that's one of the things that the Radical Race Series gives us.
Yeah, it does. First times to come across, by the way, half a tenth between Edwards and McCutcheon, and kind of says it all about the season so far, with Luke Maxwell up there as well at the moment. And by the way, the problem us are going to have as well, not only what I mentioned about Adam Tighe already being 45 points adrift, but the fact that Simon Edwards has got an average point score per round so far of just under 57 points a round. So if you sort of average that out, it means that his drop rounds are very, very strong. I know, as you say, we're early in the season, but his drop rounds are very strong, and that's the problem for everybody, really. It's the fact that if one of his drop rounds is 57 points, you can, at a very maximum, you can gain only 8 points at a single round here with the point system here. It's 65 points maximum if you win both races, and that, by the way, is hard to do, because it does mean you have to win from 10th in the second race. And it's not a hugely long one. So that's the problem, really, is that if Edwards is only going to lose at maximum 8 points a round, it's going to take you forever to close 45 points.
Yes, I agree with you. I think it will, but it's doable with the long shot kind of standard. You know, it's great. I've got a bigger shout out as well. Colin Wynn. Back on track. There we go. Colin Wynn in the Moving Matters SR10 there. So big shout out to Colin. Wonderful fella. Huge. And I don't mean wide, I mean tall. So another one who I've met in real life out of all of these people. Luke, I think for now, though, they've just got to concentrate on getting one race at a time, right? And I think that's one of the things they've got to look out for. You know, we've got some interesting circuits coming up. I am going to rock the world next week. Tsukuba is on the calendar. 17 laps in the sprint, 28 in the feature. I am made up. I think that's going to be epic.
Yeah, you're so excited you're going to kick a cat by the sounds of it.
Hey, I'm going out there, mate. I'm going to drive. I'm literally, I love Tsukuba. Good evening, Leah, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us. Why are you not on track this evening? Let us know there on that one. I love it. I think Tsukuba is an amazing circuit.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't share the opinion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, but
we've been over that, to be fair, because that's the first one you circled at the start of the season, to be fair.
It was.
About ones that we're excited about. I'm excited for Alton Park again. I know it's on the calendar every season, but it is just great every time we go there. I don't really know why, because in any other combination at Alton Park, it's never really fantastic. But for some reason, this series in the Radicals, it's a great show. And that's to look forward to at the end of January. That'll be round 7 in 3 weeks' time. So make sure you subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel, and you'll be able to catch that one when we get there. A couple of Japanese tracks actually coming up in the next couple of weeks, by the way. We've got Tsukuba, as we mentioned, but Suzuka immediately after that as well. I think it must be one of, if not the first time, we've had 2 Japanese circuits back-to-back in the Radical Race Series, at least for a long while, because we don't see Tsukuba very often. That's why it's an exciting place to go, a new place to go in terms of this series. So we're looking forward to that. But just over 2.5 minutes to go here at Spa in qualifying. Luke Maxwell has decided he's done for the day already, and Simon Edwards is looking like he's homing in on another pole position here.
Yeah, he is already. Edwards on a 2:11.7. Now, the thing for me here is not the fact that these are going to be absolutely incredible races, which is what we're expecting to see anyway. The interesting thing to be for me, and we had this before, is where will that last lap lead move come? Is it going to come on the final lap? Is it going to come on the lap before? What's going to happen? Me and you both know that this run down this Kemmel is going to be vital on the final lap, and it'll be interesting to see where everybody is in that and how they go about it, and whether or not they're going to do it down Blanchimont.
Yeah, are you going to make it into Les Combes or the final chicane is the key, and when do you wait, etc. There's James McRitchie making his way out of La Source for what will, definitely be the final time. He's not going to have a chance to get over the line again, I wouldn't imagine, in this session is James, because he's not far enough around the circuit. He's in 7th at the moment, but this is where he made his debut last season, and he ended up winning the feature race. Strange things can happen around here, and you can end up taking your first win, not by accident, but in a bit of a surprising way. John McCutcheon moves up to 2nd, and the top 3 look pretty secure as we end this session with just over a minute to go. I'm not sure there are many people out there who can still improve at the moment in terms of those who might be able to trouble the first couple of rows. You've got Ben Cooper and David Beasley improving at the moment. But other than that, nobody really out there to trouble the first couple of rows. No,
I think it's going to be Beasley's going to be the last one over the line. I don't think anybody else is really going to get near that. So I think for now we can pretty much lock up the 1, 2, 3 as they are. And I think, it's an expected 1, 2, 3. It's one of them that we are almost expectant to see now. It's the same 3. Can anyone break this though, Ewan? Can they get into this, top 3 and do something about these guys? Because at the moment they're just running away with it. So, and Leo's put Tsukuba will be exhausting.
Yeah, it will be. By the way, get this for feature race laps, by the way, 28.
I know.
Absolutely. That's loads.
I'm going to love it. Yeah, but they're like 50-second laps. They're not going to be very long. They're going to be very quick and very turny very quickly. So they're going to have to do quite a lot of work within that period of time. But here's the grid for you, dear sir.
Unlike here, by the way, which is going to be very... straight line speed is going to be key in some way. Simon Edwards is going to lead them off, though, he takes pole for this race tonight, with John McCutcheon alongside Luke Maxwell and James Barry on the next row. The top 4 all finishing in the top 4, by the way, in last season's championship. Dan Webster and Paul Clark are making another appearance in the series on row 3. James Ritchie, who took a win here last season, is 7th alongside Judge Gonzaga. Then it's Michael LeMay and David Walters to round out the top 10. Mike Booston and Paul LeMay are on row 6. Jamie Bird is 13th, ahead of Jeff McIntyre, who's only been at one of the rounds so far. Ben Cooper and Colin Wynn share row 8, with Adam Ty down in 17th, despite being 3rd in the championship so far. Damien G is 18th, ahead of Phil Glover. Then David Beasley and Phil Jocelyn, the 21 drivers to have set times here in that qualifying session a few moments ago. So that is your grid. With a few seconds remaining, or they've got a little bit further to go until they have to be readied up in time. There we go, right, just in time for everybody here. Simon Edwards on the front. It's McCutcheon and Booston again, who are the last 2 to grid up onto the circuit. That always seems to be the case. For whatever reason, they like to leave it a while. Not really sure why, but they do. And now they finally are ready. And we're ready to go racing at Spa once again. One of the most well-used circuits in the Radical Race Series, set to get underway again for 7 laps of sprint race action. We are underway here at Spa. It's Simon Edwards from the front looking to hang on to that pole position and will do so with a great launch off the line. It's Luke Maxwell down the inside into turn number 1. He gets alongside John McCutcheon on the way out of La Source, but McCutcheon looks like he hangs on to that. In fact, the first 6 or 7 a single file out the first corner.
Yeah, they are at the moment, but there's been some action at the back. I don't know what happened to Colin Wynn, whether or not he even got off the start, but unfortunately for Mr. Wynn, he didn't kind of get to go anywhere. Oh no, him and Damien G. Colin Wynn, first time back, and he goes and hits into Damien G. Luke Maxwell, John McCutcheon, side by side now as well. We've got James Barry coming through on that run down here into Ravage, and at the moment it's Edwards, Maxwell, McCutcheon and Barry, and I've got to give a shout out to Paul Clark. He has got the number 24 Jeff Gordon livery coming away from his Island Racing livery there as well. And that is Dan Webster in HB, just losing a position to Mike Bousson as they're 2-3 wide coming through No Name.
Single file out now as we get into the middle sector at Spa, which is notably more difficult in terms of twists and turns. It's a spin in the background, by the way, for Maxwell, who's gone off as well. Someone's gone off out of No Name, but it's Luke Maxwell who's got it wrong at Pouon. He's dropped quite a few positions. George Gonzaga will go through, so will Mike Bousson as well now. Side by side they go into Piff Paff, and through goes Bousson just about into 8th place. Maxwell makes a mistake and he drops to the bottom end of the top 10.
Yeah, he did here as well, and I think we can just about see Maxwell there out of the side. He runs in too deep into Pouon, and unfortunately for him, he gets it all a little bit wrong and goes off the side of the circuit. It's still McCutcheon, still with Barry, still with Paul Clark, James McRitchie and David Walters. Bousson side by side with Gonzaga on the run down. Blanchimont now coming into the bus stop. Who's going to be able to take this? It looks like Bousson might hold on. Gonzaga's gone to the left-hand side. We've got Maxwell going past Webster at the same time here. Ewan is 2 into 1 corner, going to work. There's somebody off the side of the circuit there as well. I think that might have been Adam Ty doing a run, but epic action at Spa as always.
Yeah, it's the battle for 7th place, which is keeping everybody very close together now. It's down the inside for Bousson, outside for Maxwell, round La Source for the second time. Good racing between the two, respectful room given as well. And Dan Webster's here, by the way, 10th place for him after dropping back off the start. He was on the 3rd row of the grid after qualifying, but immediately dropped further back in the field. They run through Eau Rouge and Gradion now, through into the Kemmel Straight. It's side by side between Walters, who's inside the top 5 now, and McRitchie, who switched places, but further back it's Gonzaga and Maxwell. Maxwell's not far enough alongside here to let go, and so he stays in 8th position through the chicane.
Yeah, he does at the moment as they're coming out the other side now as well, down into Ravage or downhill right hand. I've got to get it hooked up on the inside. Gonzaga still hanging on from Maxwell. The thing is, I think as well here, Ewan, I don't think Maxwell's going to be under a mass amount of panic. He knows he's got draft down the Kemmel. He knows there's a lot of places that he can overtake. One of the things he's going to have to hang on for is to make sure Bousson does not come into effect. If Bousson starts coming into play here, Maxwell's going to be in trouble, because Bousson's not going to be going easy. He's going to want to get through and protect John McCutcheon as best he can. Of course, part of Team Redline, or Team Redline, sorry, and they want to make sure, try and work together. So Bousson could play a massive part here for John McCutcheon if he gets it right.
Yeah, we'll see if that's, I'm sure that's not a consideration for him, but he could inadvertently in improving his own result here. These guys are actually catching the group for 4th place, by the way, headed by Paul Clark. We've got Walters and McRitchie, who switched places on the Kemmel Straight last time around. Not sure whether Clark is holding them up at all or not. It doesn't seem to be the case, but they are being caught, there's no doubt about that. Although when they fight further back for 7th place, then it all kind of goes away. Maxwell and Gonzaga very close into the final chicane there, but no side by side. Bousson closer to Maxwell than ever before. He's gotten the run to the front straight, in fact, but it's the outside line in towards turn 1. It's a very, very long way around here, and it didn't work for him 1 lap ago. I wouldn't imagine it's going to work this time either, and it doesn't. Bousson looking for the run off the corner. Maxwell knew that was happening, so Bousson was forced to get the run on the outside anyway, and he might well have the place on this occasion.
Oh, they're going up too wide. Luke, back out. You're going to get the run. You are going to be under pressure from Dan Webster. Webster's got to run over the top part of El Rouge here as well. And he's now alongside Luke Maxwell. Maxwell's already gone past us. He's already lost that position. But Maxwell, all he can do now is send it in deep into Lacombe. Try and hold the inside and hold that outside line on the exit. He's not gone in deep enough. Webster's going to come across, take that position away. And for Luke Maxwell, he's now down another position from battling away from 8th. He's now down in 10th. Paul Clark coming under pressure over David Walters.
Yeah, they were side by side in towards Lacombe as well on that occasion. By the way, Clark hung on that occasion. Walters looking very strong though, up inside the top 5 now to qualifying at the lower end of the top 10. Made a good start, and now he's right up there with everybody else. This is more like the group that we were expecting maybe with the race lead, and maybe we will see that in the second race, but the top 3 have got away. In fact, Simon Edwards is completely on his own. He's got more than a second ahead of anyone else battling. He's back here for 4th, where we've got the entire group of 11 cars trailing one another through the middle sector.
Yeah, it's been the way at the moment, isn't it? They seem to not been able to overtake each other. They seem to struggle here as well. Let's see how they get on. Paul Clark's trying to stay ahead of David Walters. You can see Gonzaga under pressure from the man from Somerset, Mike Bousson, absolutely flying at the moment. He's gained up on Dan Webster. He's gone past Luke Maxwell. He's now got Gonzaga in his sights as well. Is he going to be able to get through on George Gonzaga here? Gonzaga's going to try and make the move up with James McRitchie. He's going to jeopardise himself coming out. I think this could be Bousson's opportunity if he can get the run out of the bus stop now, down into La Source. He's looking at taking that outside line. Did it last time over Luke Maxwell, mind you, up through that El Rouge and Rally on there, Ewan. So nothing said he can't do it again over George Gonzaga.
Let's see, it's going to be even more difficult as they get towards the end of the race now. We're going to be about halfway on this lap. It's very nearly side by side on the run up the hill once again, but they will stay single file on this occasion. Clark will lead them up, then it will be Walters, McRitchie, Gonzaga, Bousson, with Maxwell coming under fire from Dan Webster for 9th place. They're losing the draft actually of those up in front here, and that could be a problem as Walters goes for 4th. Here we are on the inside again. They're pretty much robbing on the way up towards the chicane. That was very close. Clark was stern in his defence, but once again successful in his defence of 4th place.
Do you know, he squeezed David Walters there on that run into Lacombe, literally squeezed him against as far as he can. Bousson's just clear Gonzaga and into Ravage, goes now into No Name. But I tell you what, Paul Clark, that was an absolute stellar manoeuvre. He squeezed David Walters as much as he was physically allowed to, gave Walters something to think about, made him back out. Job done for Paul Clark. He hangs on again. They are 5 seconds away though from James Barry, who's about half a second away from John McHutchinson. But this is where the end of this train runs. This is 14th all the way down to literally Paul Clark in 4th, and Adam Tighes up 2 places, not really made the progress that we thought he might have made sitting 3rd in the championship, but he's doing a stellar job hanging on to the back end of Paul LeMay, another one who we wouldn't sit back and say should be where he should be there, Ewan.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bizarre race so far, I've got to say, in terms of who's where. I mean, you'd probably expect the top 3 to be there and where they are, but there's some very fast drivers a lot further back than maybe what you'd expect to see on a normal day. But this isn't quite a normal day so far. Bousson is attacking McRitchie. Oh, it's Martival. Oh, it has gone wrong.
Oh, it's upside down.
Up and over. Maxwell is hit by Dan Webster, and Luke Maxwell is up and over and onto his roof. And unfortunately for Dan Webster, he's going to lose a lot of places as well. Let's see how it all happened. It started with Bousson and his attack of James McRitchie. I don't even think this was an attempted move, but he just gets it wrong, does Mike? And then the side-by-side further back, Maxwell is basically stuck on going towards the path of McRitchie there, and Webster has nowhere to go either.
No, and unfortunately this is all that Luke Maxwell saw here. Literally come in, he was not expecting McRitchie. Around McRitchie went up, he goes, and here we go, over we go with Luke Maxwell, and that is where we sit, unfortunately, for Luke Maxwell. But it is not a great start for him in race 1, I've got to be honest. Well, he's got to do something in 2 now.
Yeah,
It's going to be a long, long road to recovery in this round for Luke Maxwell now, as Walters goes to the outside of Clark. Can he get to the inside for No Name? Not quite. That's what he's been working on and hoping for, and actually that was his best attempt yet here on lap 5, but still not able to do it. And I would have thought actually that the lack of drivers behind him as a result of that last crash might have helped him, but clearly not. He's still not been able to manage this overtake.
Yeah, he still didn't manage to get through, and Buson still up 5 places again now. So Mike Buson there chasing down David Walters. We've got James Barry still over the back end of Matt Hutchinson, and Ben Cooper all the way down in 13th, battling away with David Beasley. Top 10 at the moment, the pole position man, Jamie Bird, but he's only just hanging on from Adam Ty here as well. So yeah, a lot of action taking place at the moment, and here's McHutchinson and Barry.
Yeah, there they are. It's through Blanchemont again, 2 seconds behind Simon Edwards at the moment. And there goes James Barry. Is he just working things out for the final lap? Is he working on an overtake for right now? Seeing what might happen if I sent it into the final chicane there. Well, nothing really. He did send McCutcheon a little bit wide, but it didn't really help him all that much. And that looked unintentional, excuse me. Yeah, that was very unintentional. He went far too late on the brakes and entirely off the road into turn 1.
Yeah, not a move that I would have thought James Barry would have sat back a minute. Let's put it that way. He's not that kind of way. He's not that kind of driver. You can see him clearly miss that he headed to the inside. Just fortunate for McHutchinson. He's got the savvy to basically knew that he was coming. Paul Clark under pressure from David Walters. Literally, Mike Buson here. I got a funny feeling if I gave Mike the option of sending it 3 wide, would he? Probably. Is he going to look up out the middle? We are. Here they come. Oh, that's not going to help there. As Paul Clark, well, disappears and comes back again.
Yeah, that was not easy to judge where everybody was there because of Clark disappearing and coming back again. But thankfully, there was no crash. Sometimes you do see that, but thankfully not on that occasion. James Barry, by the way, has lost 3 seconds now to McCutcheon, so the podium places seem to be settled with just 1 lap to go. This will be the main battle then. For the final lap of the race, it's for 4th place. Paul Clark leading them. Then David Walters, Mike Buson and George Gonzaga are all trying to take that place off of him, of course. And of course, there are fights further back inside the top 10 as well, with Adam Ty still trying to get past Jamie Bird. Can't quite do it though. These two will be sharing the front row as it is for race 2 if it were to end right now.
Yeah, definitely as it is. But I've got a funny feeling that Adam Ty's not going to be happy just with sitting in 10th. He wants to get into 9th. Cooper there battling away, all with Beasley as well for that 12th and 13th spot. It's not really going to benefit them unless Ty and Bird come together further up, of course, and allowing these guys to get into that top 10, which is again something that they would have hoped for, but it's something that is probably or unlikely to happen. David Walters, however, has got the man here as well, who's up 5 places. Walters is up 5 as well, and they're battling on the run into the bus stop.
Go outside for Buson, and that will be a no, I would imagine, from David Walters on the way in there. Some bad memories maybe for a few in this group after the incident that saw James McRitchie spun around. Luke Maxwell with nowhere to go because he was already side by side with George Gonzaga, and Dan Webster going straight into the back of Maxwell as he had nowhere to go either. Maxwell will be starting race 2 from 19th. Webster should start from 18th as things stand, with James McRitchie also not getting any benefit from the reverse grid. Who is going to be inside the top 10 though? Well, you'd imagine these 4 will be, unless something goes badly wrong. As to who finishes 4th, still no clue really. Here goes David Walters on the outside. It was almost too close on the hill there because he had nowhere to go, and now Mike Buson has everywhere in front of him. He's going through the middle. Oh, he doesn't quite go for it here. It's Walters on the outside. He's not going to chance it either. It's Paul Clark who hangs on again, and everybody else jockeying for 5th position. Mike Buson goes to the inside at Malmedy and gets the position. Is he sizing up an overtake in the very final corner?
Well, but Buson, he's made a mistake going down into Ravage. That's allowed Walters to come through. Walters gets on the gas too early. Big tail whip slide from him as he's now going down through No Name, down into Pouan or Double Goose, or whichever lap map you're reading of Spa at this moment in time here as well. So Walters is not giving up. Gonzaga's in there as well. Come on, George, give him son. Have it there as well. I'd love to see a good George Gonzaga fight.
Yeah, he's finally arrived. I think this race has gone on 1 lap too short for him though, because he wasn't really close enough to get involved on that last lap, and it is the final one. So unfortunately for him, I think it's going to be 7th place, but you never know. Paul Clark may well have hung on here as well for 4th, but into Blanchemont for the final time is coming Simon Edwards. He's the current leader of the championship. He's won 1 feature race so far this season. He would very much like to take the double here at Spa. He's done the first part of that now as he comes into the final chicane for the 7th and final time of asking. Simon Edwards takes another race win in the Radical Race Series ahead of his main rival John McCutcheon, and takes the full 25 points for the first 7-lap race.
Yeah, stellar race from Simon Edwards there. Absolutely amazing job as always. John McCutcheon comes over the line with James Barry. Paul Clark did manage to hang on to 4th with Mike Bousson, David Walters on Gonzaga. Just couldn't seem to get in there as well. Adam Ty didn't get Jamie Bird right at the end. What about Beasley? What about McRitchie there as well? McRitchie tries to go up the inside. They're going to be running down into the line. It's going to be McRitchie over Beasley. Something must have happened to Ben Cooper there, because he's ended up... Oh, he did. What did he do, dear sir? That's Phil Glover, I believe, in front of us. So this can't be his first incident here. Oh, onto the curb, unfortunately, for Mr. Cooper, and around he goes there, yeah.
Yeah, allowed a couple of drivers to get ahead of him again, but not Dan Webster, actually. He finished 17th there and set a PB at the end, actually, but we'll be starting 17th, just ahead of Colin Wynne, who will be starting 18th. But that's the opening race of the evening complete. Let's take a look at the results after 7 laps of sprint racing. It's Simon Edwards who wins by 3.2 seconds, and John McCutcheon and James Barry. Paul Clark and Mike Bousson share the top 5, with David Walters and George Gonzaga just missing out on those positions. Paul LeMay, Jamie Bird and Adam Ty will be the top 3 for the next race. Michael LeMay just ran out of laps to get there. Phil Glover finished 12th in the end of James McRitchie, who is going to find it very difficult to repeat his win of last season. David Beasley finished 14th there ahead of Jeff McIntyre. Ben Cooper dropped to 16th with that last lap spin. Dan Webster and Colin Wynne were the final drivers to finish on the lead lap. Luke Maxwell, Phil Justin and Davian G failed to see the checkered flag in the end. So that's the opening race done. 7 laps complete, still 11 to go. And a very interesting second race coming up, I would imagine. We did see a lot of that top 3 during that first race. I'd imagine we'll see a bit more of them in this second one.
Yeah, the interesting thing will be now going through the top 10. How are they going to cope coming through the top 10? That's going to be the question. It's going to be a long draft. It's going to be a long run-in. So we're going to have to see whether or not they're going to get it done early, or whether or not they're going to get it done later on in the race. They've only got 11 laps. It was only 4 more than what they've just done. How's this one going to work? Well, time's going to tell, and we'll have a look.
We certainly will. And we'll see who can come out on top on this occasion. We've seen as well, I know I keep going on about James McRitchie's win last season, but it was very remarkable at the time. We know his credentials now, but he was making his debut here at Spa 1 season ago, a few months ago indeed, and somehow managed to take a win here. It shows basically that you can get out front and you can defend here at Spa, despite the fact there are lots of overtaking chances.
Yeah, there is, and I think Paul Clark showed us that in the first one, to be honest. I think his ability to basically show that he can defend. We know he can defend. You know, Paul Clark, he must have a mobile builder out of the back or something, because he builds walls all over the place and does an absolutely stellar job. But let's have a look at a grid for race 2, and we'll see how it's really going to go off here.
Yeah, we certainly will. With this starting grid, it's to be Adam Ty who will start from the front, with Jamie Bird, Paul LeMay and George Gonzaga on row 2. David Walters and Mike Bousson will be able to resume last race's battle from row 3. Paul Clark and James Barry will be next, ahead of Simon Edwards and John McCutcheon in the other order. In row 5, the 2 championship protagonists at the back of the top 10. Then it's those who finished outside the top 10 in the first race. Michael LeMay ahead of Phil Glover, then James McRitchie and David Beasley. Jeff McIntyre and Ben Cooper ahead of Dan Webster, who's got a lot of work to do from 17th. He's alongside Colin Wynne. Then it's Luke Maxwell in 19th, Phil Justin in 20th, and Damien G bringing up the rear for this second race of the evening. So 11 laps coming up, reverse top 10 as always. And we're ready to go racing here with Adam Tighe on the pole position on this occasion. Third place in the championship coming into today, and with the absence of Robert Woodward, he might well find it relatively easy to hang on. Unfortunately for us though, LeMay won't be taking up the start, and he starts from the pit lane. We are underway here from Spa, and it's JB Bird who's gone off to a good start. From the first row, the outside, he's going to take the lead through La Source. A great swing round the outside from him, and he leads coming out of turn 1 after a fantastic start.
Yeah, he got a nice little jump off the line there, did Jamie Bird. He got cleared Adam Tighe. David Waters come through with George Gonzaga. However, Waters was very much over the left-hand side there. You're going to have to pay attention on that one, because the last thing he wants to get is a slowdown. We've got Adam Tighe trying to make the move into Lacombe. He's going to try and go round the outside of Bird, with Waters coming up as well. So David Waters already up too. Tighe round the outside, gets it on the exit, now opens it up. Can Waters do the same thing? He's going to try and run around the outside of Armady. There's been an incident at the back. Jeff McIntyre there in the Iron Brew car, I believe, has gone into Lacombe too deep. Simon Edwards is trying to battle away. There's a puff of smoke. That's Jamie Bird.
Oh, Jamie Bird from the lead of the race has gone into the gravel, and David Walters is off the road as well in the grass at Bruxelles. Let's see how it all happened. This is a view at the front of the race. Adam Tighe regained the lead again. David Walters tried to gain the position from Jamie Bird as well. He makes big contact, and the two of them are sent to the back of the field.
Oh, Gonzaga gone to the left. Gonzaga there in the wall. There he is at the bottom. Did you just...
Very nearly in the middle of the road as well.
Yeah.
At the end of all of that. Goodness me, it's been a chaotic start here, and Gonzaga's now at the back.
Oh no, George, he's already going. Oh, now he's definitely going. Oh.
And amazingly avoided by everybody as well, because they were all fighting there, and somehow they all skipped around in time. So it was Bousson, I think, who was the one who made the actual contact there. McCutcheon is now ahead. Or it's the other way around, not sure, but I think it is Bousson who clipped him on the way past there, Gonzaga, and he will be at the back and will have probably a lot of damage at this stage. I said it was going to be difficult for some of the drivers to get through the field here. Well, it turns out not to be the case. McCutcheon, Bousson and Edwards are already second, third and fourth.
Yeah, Maxwell's making his way now as well. He's up 11 places here already. 11 places. He's going side by side with Cooper now into La Source. Cooper gets a little bit of a slide on. There's a spinner at the back there as well. That's Phil Glover. He's gone round. Colin Wynn done the same thing. I'm not entirely sure where Colin was going there, whether or not that was just ring rust on a rejoin, or whether or not he was meant to be going backwards. I'm wondering if he tried to avoid Phil Glover going into La Source there as well. No, he makes oh, well, kind of.
A bit awkward getting going again. Oh, careful. Well, wasn't careful enough probably.
No.
Turn 1 there. I understand it's difficult though. There's a wall in the way. You can't exactly see what's coming around the corner there. But either way, a bit of an awkward one. A bit of an awkward start to this race, I've got to say. It was a very clean second race last season, and maybe that's what contributed to those at the front being able to hold on to position, but we've not seen a particularly clean start this time, unfortunately. A lot of the front runners taken out, and a lot of those who were down towards the back end of the top 10 are already nearly leading the race.
Yeah, it's a bit a strange one, I think, because there was a lot of people that had an opportunity here, and that opportunity is sort of dwindled away. Now, the interesting thing for me is this gentleman here. Whoa, Cooper's gone round there as well. Pouon there once more. So David Walters, he had that contact with Jamie Bird. What Walters did do, he went and parked up on the inside and waited for Bird to come back. So that's why David Walters is so far down, because he waited for Jamie Bird. That was one of the things I picked up on the replay. You saw him parked on the right hand side. So fair play. David Walters did hit the inside curb and there as well. So he hit the inside curb, mounted the curb and hit Jamie Bird, and that's where one of the problems come from. Bousson is doing a...
Oh, he's nearly his teammate.
Oh.
Goodness me.
John McCutcheon, be careful there, Sunshine. He nearly went into the back of Mike Bousson.
Well, and if Mike hadn't outbraked himself as well, then he would have done, I reckon, because McCutcheon certainly got it wrong. Fortunately, in some ways, Bousson got it wrong as well. So they all went wide into the corner, and Simon Edwards gets the fastest lap of the race so far, perhaps unsurprisingly, with his slightly stronger line through the final couple of corners. They're all catching up now, though. It's all concertinaing together, and maybe we are going to get this big race for the win that we were hoping for here at race 2. It's going to be McCutcheon down the inside here, and Bousson, and Edwards through the middle. He's going to take both the teammates here, and with a great bit of Simon Edwards straight line speed, he's going to take second place. Oh, he very nearly cuts off the nose. Oh, Mike Bousson there, that was exceptionally close, and he probably wouldn't want to do that again, but he's in second place now.
Oh, Bousson. I know a good plastic surgeon's son. I'll get that nose put back on there as well for Mike Bousson. And Simon Edwards, though, to be fair, that could have been literally really dangerous. They could have both ended up coming off there, and it was so close. And one of the things as well as we talk about is obviously the wonderful internet issues that we sometimes get through our iRacing that it causes. They got away with that one, because if that had kicked in, Edwards would have gone to the right hand side at 90 degrees, Bousson would have gone off the other way, and it all would have got very messy. Further down the field, though, David Beasley battling away with Jamie Bird, who's trying to get away from Phil Jocelyn, who's trying to get away from David G, who's trying to escape David Walters. So there's some great action further down here as well, Ewan, as these guys are battling all the way down in 15, 14, 13 and 12. So action throughout the field at the moment.
Yeah, I think Adam Ty, though, is letting the pressure get to him just ever so slightly, because Edwards is right behind him, and all of a sudden the pace is completely gone from the race leader. Either that or the slipstream is really helping them stay close together, but I have a feeling it may be the former. Ty now to the outside. McCutcheon knows this is an important moment. He's late on the brakes as well. Can he clear himself into the final turn? No. They'll go side by side through turn for second place, and Edwards will give the slipstream to Ty. He knows that there's an opportunity here. McCutcheon, though, slides in front of Adam Ty, and through he goes. Oh, he knows!
No!
Oh, he spun! He's got it wrong. He's just gone on the power too early. Adam Ty had nowhere to go since he was following him absolutely bumper to bumper. And John McCutcheon's down to 10th.
Oh, Johnny Hutch, sunshine, what are you going to do? Do you know what? I talk about a move very often, and it is this move here that John McCutcheon did on Adam Ty, and it's one of the things, I'm trying to go back and find it, that drives me absolutely crazy when I watch official races. And that is about that John McCutcheon had cut in front of Adam Ty right before the entrance of La Source. If you watch this here, for John McCutcheon, Ty was unsighted. He had nowhere to go in general. But watch, he's cleared him, boom. Goes in front of him. Adam Ty's got nowhere to go. He tries to get on the brakes, tries to stop him. McCutcheon gets a light on Adam Ty. Too close. Far too close, just nowhere to go for Adam Ty to get through. Yes, I know it's a move. Yes, everybody does it, and I understand that. But that, unfortunately, could be one of the consequences of what's come out of it. Got on the power too early, spun up the back end. Ty with just nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, often when there is someone behind like that and they do drive into someone in that respect, then you often say, well, it's the person behind's fault, but he really didn't have anywhere to go. On that occasion, Adam Ty, and unfortunately, John McCutcheon has fallen down to 10th place. As a result, it will be about how many points he can regain now as a result of this one, because Simon Edwards is 3 seconds in the lead and looks like he's on his way to a full 65 points at the end of today.
It does. It really does. I think Simon Edwards has got this locked up. The only way this is ever going to come back to any one of these people behind is they've got to follow each other, not battle with each other. Try and follow and close the gap. Look, the runaway horse is in the bottom right hand corner. Then you've got 2, 4, 6, 7 stallions all trying to have a go as well. It's just not going to work. They've got to come up with something between this lot. They either keep battling and Edwards escapes, or they've just got to settle in line astern and go for it one at a time. That's all they can manage to do at the moment here. Not entirely sure what's going to be the best way for these guys.
Side by side, nearly on the way up the hill there. James McRitchie up to 3rd. All of a sudden, he didn't even need a top 10 start to get a podium. Packard Spa again by the looks of things. And James Barry's going to try and prevent him from getting 2nd. That was a late move. And speaking of late moves, Mike Booton's going to make one up into second place. That was a very late defence from James Barry. And James Ritchie's off the road anyway. So it won't matter in the end, but that was late. And James Ritchie is not pleased. He goes straight back to the pit lane, and that will be it for him today.
Was that all on his own, or was there some form of contact from Adam Tighe? No, it was all on his own. He's rode the inside curb, and unfortunately the back end's just decided, well, son, if you're going to put me here, I'm coming round with you. And it did go round on him and stepped out on that one. So unfortunately for James McRitchie, there was nobody else to blame on that one, Sunshine, apart from yourself. But Maxwell's come back. He's sitting in 6th at the moment. He's got a place in front of John McHutchison because he's got the man mounting Paul Clark behind him. So for Luke Maxwell, not looking too bad. He can make a couple of places up here as well. Obviously, he's got Dan Webster in front of him. We know they've come to contact him race 1. Not really anybody's fault. Neither of them had anywhere to go on that one, regardless what they probably will say. But unfortunately, it is what it is here for these two. They just got to go at it, try and clear some of this traffic in front. They've got the opportunity of making up 4 places. So let's hope they take it.
Well, there's a lot of people here looking for these final 2 podium places. You can't see this group really splitting apart in the next 6 laps or so before the end of the race. That's the end of lap 5. Still more than half to go in the feature race today. Down the inside goes Webster. No, not quite for turn 1 there on Adam Tighe. There's the gap to Simon Edwards, by the way. It's only increasing, and you can see why. The group is only fighting more and more. That was a cut across on Webster there of Adam Tighe. Up the hill they now go. It's a bit of a split in the group, actually. Adam Tighe is probably going to be overtaken here by Dan Webster, who's gained more than 10 places already in this race. He's inside the top 5. Lots of big movers and shakers so far, and 3 of them right up to, or 2 of them, excuse me, are up towards the front at the moment. Dan Webster and Luke Maxwell inside the top 6, having started well outside the top 10 for both of those.
Yeah, John McHutchison just cleared Michael LeMay's just cleared John McHutchison as well. David Beasley here has got currently Damien G and Phil Jocelyn in front of him. The likes of George Gonzaga are still running, Colin Wynn still running, Jeff McIntyre is still running in the Iron Brew there for the Scotsman. Bill Glover's still up and running, and so is Paul LeMay. But it's all about this battle here going up front as well. So Buson, Barry, Webster, Tighe, Maxwell and Clark all battling it out for this final, really, I would have thought, this final podium position.
So I'm going to see what it's like probably for the remainder here as well. I think the only driver here I'm slightly concerned about having the speed to stay with the group is Adam Tighe at the moment. You can see that pretty consistently a small gap opens up in front of him, and it's happening again here. 6/10 of a second to Dan Webster on this occasion. Imagine Luke Maxwell needs to get this pass done quickly.
Yeah, he definitely does. He can't hang about. There he goes, does Maxwell. We're going to be going through. Tighe's on our right-hand side, currently going through down through Blanchimont. Maxwell does make it through. I'm expecting Paul Clark to give it a go as well. Further up, you can see Buson managing to hang on from James Barry with Dan Webster as well, who's now going to be chased down by Luke Maxwell once more. Damien G is under some pressure, trying to put on the pressure, onto David Beasley. Didn't make it through into Blanchimont this time around. There's a spinner there. That's Jamie Bird.
Yeah, Jamie Bird putting up a smoke screen at the final chicane. See how it happened for him here. He's completely on his own. Completely unforced error. It's just a simple spin, really, and he's going to light up the rear tyres in doing a donut, trying to get back going again. Oh dear, Jamie Bird has done an over donut, if you can call it that. He's overcooked his donut, and he's gone straight into the side of... Now, who was that? Was it David Beasley, maybe?
Phil Jocelyn.
Sure.
Phil Jocelyn.
But Jocelyn, yeah, it was, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure they could see very much, really, as they were approaching the final chicane there.
No, unfortunately, as you say, Jamie Bird overcooking it. He's no longer a Krispy Kreme donut. He's now a Greg's. So, unfortunately for Jamie Bird there.
Greg's donuts more crispy?
Wait. To be fair, their glazed donuts are actually really nice. I actually prefer the glazed ones over the crispy cream donuts, so
Wow.
maybe that's just me on that one. But there is some racing going on, apart from us having donuts.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. Apart from that, Webster got Maxwell battling away, and we've still got James Barry in front of us. I know, same here, mate. I'm same here.
Yeah, forget about Krispy Kreme. It's just crispy for Jamie Bird. Unfortunately, too crispy. Anyway, that's he's down to 15th. But I'll stop with the donuts. He's down to 15th now, and on the back of Phil Glover for now. But this is the group where the final podium spots are being argued about. Mike Bousson is holding the last of the first of those final two currently, and it looks like he's got a bit of extra speed over the likes of James Barry, especially. Not sure if Dan Webster and Luke Maxwell are just being held back ever so slightly, being struck behind Barry. They certainly look to be the case. They're jumping all over each other at the moment.
That's the thing. I know these are all racing drivers, and we know these are all champions. You know, Maxwell's won. I think Webster's taken one as well. You know, James Barry is fighting for one, or trying to fight for one this season. Mike Bousson is ever the nearly man. He nearly gets there, and then something goes wrong, generally on Mike's own fault. But they've got to try. They're not going to catch Edwards at the moment with 6 seconds. He's running away about a tenth, maybe even more than that, about 4/10 per lap, based on their last lap time. You know, Bousson's did a 2:13, Edwards did a 2:12.4, Bousson 2:13.1. So he's got to try and almost not.
Oh! Oh dear, that was close.
Oh!
And somehow they all get away with it. Mike Bousson will hold on to second. Webster and Barry still side by side for third. And it's going to be Webster here who's going to prevail. He's got his nose ahead, and he's going to crowd out Barry. No, he can't quite shut the door in time at Brussels, and so it will continue into No Name Corner. Now he'll definitely have the inside, and he'll definitely have the position. James Barry gets a good exit. He'll be on the inside at Pouon now, and should have the position here for third. He's going to return serve. No, Webster's right round the outside, but it's just too long of a corner, I think.
Yeah.
And Barry will get ahead again with Maxwell all of a sudden back involved after going too deep into Lecombe.
Yeah, these two, well, Webster got him, and that was the interesting thing. He got Barry and then made the mistake, locked up the brakes coming into Rivage, and unfortunately he didn't get the rest of the job done. And that was what the problem was for Webster. He had the opportunity, locked up into Rivage, didn't get it done, and now he's got Maxwell pressurising him again here. And for Luke Maxwell, he needs this position. He this fourth place as best as he physically can, and whether or not he's going to come and make it a free wide situation down through the Camel into Lecombe, well, that's something that we're going to see here from Luke Maxwell, because to be honest, I think he did that badly. Got to be sending it free wide to try and get through the middle, and we've seen Simon Edwards do it, and there's nothing stopping Luke Maxwell doing it.
It's a group that's growing again, by the way. Paul Clark is back here again in the 6th position. Adam Tyne not quite able to stay with these guys, and it looks like LeMay has not quite had a problem, but has been overtaken by Damien G. They're having a bit of a scrap at the moment on the front straight. Between the two of those, that's the final spot inside the top 10 for the moment. Still 3 laps to go, including the lap that we're on at the moment for these drivers. It's very close now for third place. Bousson looks like he will hold second, but who is going to get third? Maxwell's going to push Webster past James Barry. It looks like they both want to get through here. Maxwell wants to make sure of his place, so he wants to attack some more. And there's contact. Webster somehow saves it and holds on to third place.
Oh, do you know the problem for Luke Maxwell wasn't the fact that he went free wide, it wasn't the fact that he got through on James Barry, the fact that Dan Webster shut the door. Webster shut the door, and Maxwell really had nowhere to go. The thing what I would have done if I was Luke Maxwell is gone to the inside of James Barry. He spent so much trying to defend out wide to Dan Webster. Maxwell had that inside opportunity and he didn't take it. He just took down where he went with what Webster did, and unfortunately he didn't do what he could have done. If we have a look again here, you can see the inside there for Barry. Look at the right hand side of the circuit. Maxwell had that opportunity, he he slots in, but watch what Webster does. He closes him right up, squeezes him, and then unfortunately it was just a concertina all the way through, and Luke Maxwell took a little bit of a bump from James Barry on that one.
A little bit, but they'll get away with it. And there'll still be 2 laps to go when they get to the line here. Webster holds that final podium place for now, but it's going to be long argued over, and it won't be over till the checkered flag. You would imagine. Barry close again actually here into the final chicane. Wasn't expecting much to happen down here, but it will do. Barry's on the outside for now, but no, Webster breaks late, blocks him at the second part, and now Maxwell will have the run going into the first corner. Will he go for something at the source maybe? Or will he just be a bit too far back? Will he just be a bit more patient than that? He will. It looks like it's all going to happen into Les Combes again.
Yeah, he's got to go for it once more as they're coming out of La Source. Down the hill they go. We've got a Webster this time. Then we've got a Barry. Then we've got a Maxwell. We've got a Paul Clark. We've got a LeMay and McHutchison and Ty further back. And Damien G. Now this is where Maxwell go. You need to go the other side. I think he needs to play the other side because Webster, if he's going to hang it out, he's going to hang it out all the way. Well, he's actually giving it to Luke Maxwell. We are literally seeing deja vu from the last lap. Is Maxwell going to make it through? Is Webster going to make it easy? He's coming around the outside into Lacombe. Through Marmody they go, and it is going to be Maxwell. I think he pushes out Webster a little bit. Webster's going to try the outside line this time. Round Barrage on that run down into No Name. I think he's going to get it done here, Ewan, but he's still going to continue on.
And this time it will be complete. Maxwell will finally get in front into third place, and Webster finally back to fourth. It was almost like watching a replay there. Webster gave us slightly a bit more room though into the first part of Les Combes, and maybe that's what prevailed in his downfall there, because Maxwell was finally able to get ahead and now get third place. It may all be tactical though. There's 1 lap to go at the end of this one. Who knows who's going to come out the other side with this final podium space? It's going to be Simon Edwards shortly on the top step, Mike Bousson joining him, but who's going to be there on the bottom step of the podium? It'll be Maxwell, Webster, Barry, or even Paul Clark, who's now joined them from 6th place.
Yeah, Maxwell's opened up a little bit of a gap, mind you. He's got a little bit of a buffer. Michael LeMay's lost a position to John McHutchison. McHutchison still can't clear Adam Ty here, and I'm wondering if there's a little bit of damage on McHutchison's car with that top end. It's just kind of gone out the window a little bit here, and he's not been able to hold on to the positions because Michael LeMay does look quicker. McHutchison now sends it on Ty. Oh, Webster's off. Oh, Webster's off. James Barry, Luke Maxwell, and Dan Webster. What happened? Coming down into the bus stop here. Maxwell's out in front. He's closing the inside line. Barry, where are you going? Whoa, dear sir. No.
Barry misjudged that entirely, and I'm not sure how Webster spun around, and we saw how the initial contact was made, but Dan Webster eventually went for an entire spin there. Let's see how it happened between the two of them. Webster closes the door on Barry, who is coming with a full head of steam, and Maxwell goes around and Webster comes to a complete stop. Now maybe, I'm not sure if Webster has maybe hit the instant limit there, because he didn't actually have to come into the pit lane.
Johnny McHutch does get through, but that has put a Mr. Paul Clark on the third step of the podium. So fair play, Paul, at the moment. Hang on there, son. And now Michael LeMay trying to clear James Barry with Adam Ty in front on that final lap as Simon Edwards goes around Paul on that run down into Vanier.
You never know what's quite going to happen. And I've got to say, I didn't think Paul Clark was going to be on the podium at the end of this race. Lo and behold, there he is. All of a sudden, he didn't even have to do much battling himself, actually. Barry went way too deep into the chicane. Webster came to a dead stop because Maxwell spun right in front of him. It was a bizarre penultimate lap, and it's not over yet. 6th place, Barry goes through on Adam Ty and is continuing to move up the places. John McHutchison has at least recovered to a top 5, but nobody is going to get anywhere near Simon Edwards once again. He's got 10 seconds over the rest of the field, and it's going to be domination. 65 points on the day. A massive step forward here in round 4 of the Radical Race Series. Another back-to-back win. Another Simon Edwards feature win, his 2nd of the season. He takes the win at Spa after doing very little battling all day. He's got 2 race wins to his name.
Yeah, he definitely has there. Absolutely stellar job from Simon Edwards here once more. As you can see, Mike Buson comes over in second. Paul Clark getting the third. Maxwell fourth. McCutcheon fifth, with James Barry and Michael LeMay in sixth. We've got Dan Webster's back out on track. He's still in front of Dave Beasley and Phil Glover. I'm wondering whether or not he had a drive-through there, Ewan, and that's why he ended up going into the pits, because that contact put him on the drive-through limit, and that could be why he went in on that one. But yeah, very interesting evening of races here, and well, one that I think can only be deemed again. Spa has delivered, although we do not like it, and we see it on every series, giving us great racing as always.
There's a reason for it, and we've just seen it here today. Certainly, it's been a very interesting one indeed. Another great round of the Radical Race Series to go with it. It's Simon Edwards who takes the double win, though. 10 seconds this time over Mike Buson. Paul Clark ends up with the podium place as well, ahead of Luke Maxwell and James Barry, who was inside the top 5. John McCutcheon slipping back to 16th at the end there. Michael LeMay up to 6th ahead of his brother Paul. David Walters up to 8th after his first lap incident with Jamie Bird. Then Dan Webster and David Beasley inside the top 10. These guys over a half minute back, by the way. Phil Glover only a second away from another top 10. He was 11th ahead of Damien G. Then it's Colin Wynn 13th ahead of Jamie Bird and George Gonzaga. That rounds out the top 15. John McCutcheon dropping back on that final lap to 16th. As I said, Adam Ty doing the same to 17th. Jeff McIntyre finishes 18th position. He was over a minute back, with Phil Johnson, James Verity and Ben Cooper all finishing laps down at the end of that race. Well, we're still waiting for people to come and be interviewed for us at the moment, but you say Spa producing once again, but it's produced 2 Simon Edwards wins on this occasion.
Penalties. John McCutcheon and Adam Ty are penalties because they come over the line in 5th and 8th, and they've had to have a penalty at the end. Adam Ty goes through, trying to hang on to the position. John McCutcheon says, well, no, it doesn't for me. So therefore, he carries on. We're just going to change over, guys. We'll be right back as we then head into the interview.
All right, let's do some interviews from the end of the race at Spa, starting with Mike Buson, who joins us from second place in the feature. Welcome back to the booth, Mike. Good to have you along with us again. How has this evening been at Spa for you? Second place in the second race. In the end, you got free from the group, but it was pretty intense battling while you were there. What was it like being out there on the circuit tonight?
Yep, evening chaps, happy new year and all that festive stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed that tonight. Wasn't expecting to pull off some nice manoeuvres like that tonight, but yeah. All in all, Spa doesn't normally treat me well, but tonight, you did.
Certainly were a lot of interesting manoeuvres for everybody in the end. You did get free, as I said, in the second race, but it was pretty intense while you were there at it. I mean, was there a situation in that race where anyone could have stayed with Simon Edwards? I know the case was that people were battling and that's how he got away initially. But, you know, when you were eventually free from the group, did you realise at that point that there was nothing that anyone could have done about him today? What was the sort of situation with his pace today?
If I had to take the slow down because obviously I had to go round the traffic, shall we call it. Obviously, by then, having to get back through the pack and being disconnected, I'd sort of kept on his pace for a few laps, but reality was that the ones behind were closer, so I had to deal with them rather than worry about Simon. So it was try and strategically erase the guys behind, try and make them have to work against each other best I could. so I could try and break free. And Simon, X amount of laps from the end, I was just sort of doing the bare minimum just so I can actually hold the position. So
Right,
that's
certainly
how
worked
it
out.
unfolded.
Yeah, second place for you, as I say, in race 2. Is there anyone I'd like to give a shout out to, Mike, before we let you go?
Luke Littler. Luke Littler. We'll go Luke Littler.
Got his name wrong.
Yeah, you put me on the spot. I didn't even think about this bit.
It's not like I ask you every time.
Oh yeah, but it's been a while.
It has. It has, to be fair.
Who's
it's the
Luke
darts
Littler?
player, for those who don't know.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, the young 16-year-old kiddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not watching, but anyway, he'll receive it through. I don't know. He just will.
Yeah.
So there we are.
I'll tag him in a tweet on Twitter or X or whatever
Yeah.
it's called.
He might enjoy watching the stream. You never know. Let's get him on.
Can you imagine Can you imagine his mentions at the moment? By the way, he's never seeing anything ever
That's
anymore
it.
after this week. But fair enough.
That's it. Tell him to get rid of the Xbox and get a sim rig. Ditch your darts. He's clearly no good at it. Let's move on.
Wow, pretty savage, but there we go. Congratulations, Mike, on P2 tonight in race 2. Thanks so much for coming to chat to us again. Happy New Year as well, as he said it to us, and we'll see you next week.
Catch you later, guys.
Hello, mate.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Mike Booston there, second place in race 2, trailing Simon Edwards, of course, who was P1 in race 1 as well. Welcome in, Simon. Good to have you with us again on the other side of the new year at Spa once again for round 4, and it turned out to be pretty successful for yourself. Did you imagine that you were going to pick up the full 65 points today, or was it not a race you were particularly confident about?
I was confident in my pace, but with such a draft here, I was amazed that I got away in the first race when Luke and John were fighting, I think. And then I got away in the second race after doing my reverses onto through up the is it Camel Straight? And then John had a little boo-boo, I think, and that gave me the space, and I could just do my pace, which was a couple of tenths more than everybody else. So I was really happy with that. I survived the chaos of the first laps in that second race. I had to brake hard a couple of times to avoid cars, but got away with it. I enjoy Spa, can you tell?
Well, it's been successful for you. There's no doubt about that here tonight. I mean, what were the opening laps of the second race like? Because I said that at the start of it that it was going to be pretty difficult for people to move forward. People like you who were starting in 10th place on that 5th row to actually move forward, much like what we saw last season, where a lot of those that started up towards the front, even in race 2, stayed there. You and a lot of others found it very difficult to move through, and that's been the case in some seasons on past. But you were inside the top 5, well inside the top 5 by the end of the opening lap. What was it like trying to pick your way through that one?
Yeah, there was a couple of spinners and slight puntings, which gave me 2 or 3 places, I think. I was just being as cautious as I could. I went wide in T1 from the line just to make sure that that anybody diving down the inside had tons of space, and then we had a game of chicken down to Eau Rouge with John and I think Paul Clark. Paul chickened number 1, I chickened number 2, and John got ahead. And then, it was just keeping my eyes open, really, and just being careful. Yeah,
it's the name of the game sometimes, especially at the start of those. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Sam, before we let you go?
I'll give a shout out to Mike. He had tons of pace there, didn't he? And he had a good race, or both races, I think. So I was glad to see him back up with the front of the field again.
Absolutely. Great to see. Simon, congratulations on a double win, a full 65 points for you tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yep, thank you, and Happy New Year.
Thanks very much. Happy New Year, Simon Edwards. They're victorious in the first 2 races of 2024. And now Phil Glover, who always joins us at the end of our streams here for the Radical Race Series, now joins us again here today. Welcome in, Phil. Good to have you with us for the first time in 2024. A couple of races where you very nearly broke into the top 10 here tonight at Spa. How is it out there for you?
Yeah, good evening. Well, not too bad. It's not a track I say this a lot, don't I? It's not a track I particularly like and go that well on, but yeah, started pretty much at the back again, midfield on both races, wasn't I? The second one I was 19th and then ended up 12th, so not too bad. I can't remember, was it the second race somebody tapped me into, or I tapped them into the corner 1, so that put me pretty much at the back, I think.
I don't remember seeing that. Maybe we did, but I don't remember seeing that at any point. We might have missed it. It's possible. Or it's possible I don't remember. Maybe that's more likely. But
well, to be fair, you wouldn't be watching me necessarily. So.
Well, we do fairly often. But anyway, no, I don't remember it at the moment. So maybe it'll come to me later. But not for now. You mentioned that you were not a particular fan of Spa. We're visiting a circuit that we really don't visit very often next week in Tsukuba. It's well known to people who are on iRacing regularly, of course. It's used fairly regularly in officials, and in other categories, but not so much in the Radical Race Series. Have you done much driving around there? Are you particularly comfortable with the layout around there?
I think we might have only done it twice, and I think one of those was probably a week 13 or something. Unlike Spa, where everybody tends to drive an awful lot, I don't like it that much, so I don't do an awful lot of practice on this side. I'm kind of hoping that most people don't drive next week's circuit very often, so it'll level the playing field a little bit in my favour, but who knows?
Just a quick thing, Colin, as well. Sorry to interrupt. It was Colin Wynn that drove into you, Bill. Apparently, he drove into the back of you at turn 1.
Was it? No, I'm in VR. I don't know whether I turned in on him or whether he.
No. To be fair, you're lucky Colin got off the start line, to be honest, because he didn't quite manage it in race 1. So, it was carnage at the back there, bless him.
Yeah, because I think up until that point, I'd probably taken a few over a few people. So, yeah, but I'm used to it.
It is his first race back. We've got to give him a little.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to just leave that discussion and that comment to the chat, actually.
Yeah,
but
these Porsche drivers, I don't know.
I know he's full of it. He sits in a Porsche and thinks he owns a road, bless him. But he couldn't even get it off the start this time, and it's only a Radical. God knows what he's like in his Porsche.
Yeah.
Well, there we are. I'm glad we figured that out because I don't remember that at all. So that's good for another example of my memory failing me. Is there anyone who'd like to give a shout out to, Phil, before we let you go?
Well, both of you guys. And James, do you think you're going to pop to the NEC, or are you still not sure?
I'm still not sure, mate, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there. I've had some personal stuff go on this week, so I've got to really kind of maintain with that one. So I don't think I'm going to make it, mate.
Okay, no worries. I'll catch up with you soon anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
That certainly will. We'll speak to you next week, I hope, Phil, at the end of the races at Tsukuba. But for now, thanks very much for coming to join us, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Catch you later. Cheers, bye.
Thanks very much. Phil Glover there chatting to us at the end of the races tonight at Spa. That will just about do it for us, though, tonight here for the Radical Race Series. Been good to be back again in 2024, and I hope everybody's pleased that this series is back. I certainly am here on the JPB YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe because there's lots of stuff coming thick and fast once again. The year has begun, and there's a lot more broadcasts coming than there was 1 week ago. Let's put it that way. We're back into the swing of things again in 2024. It's good to be back, James. Still 8 more rounds to go in consecutive weeks for this series as well.
Do you know what? Right, it is good to be back. Yes, we did take a break. We took a 2-week break here as well. We finished on the 23rd of December and only first one back here this evening as well. And do you know what? I don't care what happens for the rest of the season as long as I am witnessing Tsukuba on the SR10 calendar. That is all I care about. That after that turn one, them S's down into the hairpin, then the left turn down into that, it's going to be amazing and probably chaotic. So apart from that, I couldn't have cared for the rest of the calendar for this year. I was just so happy when Tsukuba was on there. It's going to be awesome. Tune in for that one. Don't forget, like, subscribe, do all the other fancy jazz for free, and it's going to be amazing. Definitely come in next week, because if this is what we get at Spa, what are we going to get at Tsukuba? It's short, it's tight, the lap times are going to be about 50 seconds, if that, I think, give or take. If I can do a 101 in an MX-5, what are these guys going to be doing in their SR10s? It's going to be very, very quick, very rapid. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is. After that, James is not going to be broadcasting this series anymore because it won't be getting any better. Anyway.
No, I don't need to. Mate, do you know what? I'm so glad somebody put Tsukuba on the calendar. I couldn't have cared if it was on a Mazda or whatever, but it's on an SR10. It's like knock-hill reverse. It's so mouth-watering because you know it's going to be manic. So stay tuned. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we are going to be back, of course, for the next 8 weeks in a row. The run to the end of the championship, which, of course, comes at Donington Park this season at the end of February. So make sure you subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel to catch all of that and all of the other racing and series that go on as well. For now, though, we will bid our farewells. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt. And until we see you in 1 week's time over in the Far East, it's goodbye for now.